In today's video, we're going to be looking at a fairly new SBC, the KickPi K2B. Before I get started, I must clarify that this product was sent to me for free, and as part of the deal, you can find links to purchase the product in the description below from Amazon and on the official website. These are not affiliate links, so I don't earn a commission on any sales, and I haven't been endorsed to say anything. However, I do get to keep this product. With that said, let's get into the unboxing. As you can see, this board is fairly well packaged, with a black box, an anti-static bag, and some bubble wrap. In terms of the specs, we have an Allwinner H618 system on a chip, formed of 4 ARM Cortex A53 cores and a Mali G31 MP2 GPU. This board is available with either 1, 2, or 4 GB of RAM, and 8, 16, or 32 gigs of eMMC storage. My one has 2 gigs of RAM and 8 gigs of built-in storage. We also have Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2. Having a look around the board, we have Gigabit Ethernet, HDMI, USB-C for power, a headphone/audio output jack, expansion pins, an infrared receiver, a microSD card slot, a power button, and a reset button. A pretty decent selection of I/O. USB 2.0 might be a bit slow depending on your use case, but I'm just using it for the keyboard and mouse, so it's not a problem for me. A key selling point of this board is the price. It's $27.99 on both Amazon UK and Amazon US. Now, there are other boards around this price, some even cheaper, but they often come with caveats like high shipping costs, long shipping times, or they lack features such as built-in Wi-Fi. On paper, this board's SoC is similar to that of a Raspberry Pi 3, and the hardware is pretty decent for what it is. However, things get a bit finicky with software. There are 2 officially supported operating systems, Android and Ubuntu. The Android image is pretty bare bones. It doesn't come with the Google Play Store or any other app store, so if you want to install apps, you'd most likely have to sideload an APK. I didn't delve too much into Android since I'm more interested in the Linux side, but I'm assuming you'd install Android if you wanted to use this board for something like digital signage or playing local media. Maybe you want to make a DIY digital photo frame, for example. The Ubuntu image is based on Ubuntu 22.04, and it has 2 variants, a server image and a desktop image, which includes the XFCE desktop. I don't have much to say about the server image, but the desktop image only includes LLVM pipe. This means we're limited to software rendering. If you're not doing anything graphically intensive, it doesn't really matter. But I had other plans. The Panfrost module wasn't included in the kernel, which meant I would have to recompile it. Compiling the kernel isn't that difficult, but I couldn't get the board to boot into the new kernel. Since we're not using Grub, the process is a bit different to a regular x86 PC. After some messing around, I was going to give up, until I came across an Amazon review. It mentioned how this board could theoretically run images designed for the Orange Pi 03. So I tried an Ambient image, and it successfully booted with Panfrost working. However, the downside of this image is that it doesn't recognize the eMMC storage, and the Wi-Fi and sound do not work. For a bit of fun, I decided to test some games and play around with Box64. I had to create some swap space to compile Box64 because we only have 2 GB of RAM. Now, while this board obviously isn't designed for gaming, this should hopefully highlight what the GPU is capable of. Normally I would comment over the gameplay, but I'm going to let the results speak for themselves. I also decided to have a go at mining some Monero, because why not? Overall, I think it's a pretty decent board for the price, but it largely depends on your use case. Unlike some of the other boards I've showcased, I wouldn't recommend using this like a PC, because things like YouTube playback and even playing 4K video locally isn't great. But if you're using it for things like Home Assistant, an Nginx web server, or a basic network file share, this should work pretty well for that. I do have a few plans in mind for this board, and my main plan is making a cyber deck. I've been seeing these all over YouTube, and I think they're very cool. I initially planned on using a RISC-V board, mostly for the novelty of it, but the board I picked up is still in its infancy. And while I could have opted for a board with better support like the Vision 5.2, KickPi offered to send this ARM board out, and I figured it would be a more practical option. That's it for today's video. Thank you to KickPi for sending this product out to review, and until next time, cheerio.